Hello, I wanted to speak to you today about how to officially edit your course. Now, when do you need to officially edit your course? Theoretically, it's whenever you change required fields that are found in the CIM record. CIM stands for Course Inventory Management. You'll hear me talk about CIM for courses, which is what we're going to cover today, and also CIM for programs, which is what feeds into the degree audit that you see during advising. So the first step in editing your CIM record is actually getting into CIM. So I'm starting from DUP website that I created and going right here, Course Inventory Management Guides. If I click on this, I get to the undergraduate courses, curricula, and academic standards page. There's a lot of information that allows you to learn more about the process and videos, a quick editing guide, all kinds of things. But we're going to hop right into CIM for courses. And you're going to have to log in. And then you're going to want to search for your course. And I'm going to use my class TE200 as our example. So if I type in TE200, I pull up my course record. And you will see that the majority of our course records in TECS, there are a lot of blank fields. So here, there's no course objectives, no student learning outcomes. All of this is blank. There's no syllabus. And that's because when TE200 was first approved, it was done on paper. When this online system, CIM, was formed, they were able to pull information from the catalog, and that's how things were initially filled. And in this course, you can see there's only been one minor, change type minor, one minor change has been done, and it was last done in 2019. You can, if I scroll all the way down here, I can read comments and stuff. I can read the justification for the change and that type of thing. To edit the course, we need to just click this edit course button, and it will open the editor in a separate window. Now we're in the editing window. We can make a minor change or a major change. Minor changes have to go through all the same steps as major changes. The only difference is that at UCCC, the University Course and Curricula Committee, minor changes go on the consent agenda and not and aren't reviewed by the committee. In general, we are going to be asking you to do major changes unless your CIM record is complete. We want to complete our CIM records, and so moving forward, we have all that information in the system. So let's look at these top few fields so we can make a minor or a major change. And if I click minor, there's only so many fields I can change. If I click major, I can change most of the fields. So I've got my course prefix, my course number, my full title, and my abbreviated title. Please really think about your abbreviated title and whether you want to change that. This is what's shown on the transcript. And there are more letters available than when a lot of our courses were created. So you can play around and see if you have enough letters to make something that makes more sense. So when I start editing this, I might see if I can do Intro to Polymer Science and Engineering, Polymer Sci and Eng. Okay. So there's our college, our department. This you should not be changing. When is it offered? Offered every year, every other year. What kind of course delivery? So this class is face-to-face. I offer it also DE. And I will find out. This is the course delivery. So face-to-face, most of us do that. And I'm not sure the difference between distance ed and online, but if I click this bubble, it's not going to tell me. So I would need to go to the website that we started at and look to see what's the difference between DE and online. Grading method, many of our classes are going to be graded with an SU option. Credit hours, that should already be set. Our course length, the default here is 16 weeks. Okay, so if we enter 16 weeks, it's a lecture course, 3 contact hours. Contact hours are complicated if you're doing anything besides lecture, and we will probably reach out to the Office of Courses and Curricula to verify that contact hours are being done correctly if we have some of these other different types besides lecture. We don't have many GEP classes, and I don't know that we have any of these in the department. Typically, our courses are not repeatable for credit. Here is our prerequisites. And this is something that you want to really think about. What prerequisites are needed for your course? Prerequisites should not be used for sequencing classes. We should do that through the degree audit and through advising. These are the classes that you actually need to do well in your course. And then the catalog description. I believe a long time ago, especially back when there were print catalogs, there was restrictions and we used a lot of short, choppy sentences, and you had to keep this really brief. Now you have more flexibility because these aren't printed anymore. This is your justification for each revision, and you do need to justify the changes you are making. For T200, if I'm not actually making a whole lot of changes, I'm just completing the CIM record and making minor changes, I can just say that I'm completing the CIM record to the best of my knowledge. I'm completing it as it was originally, and that I'm making a change to the prerequisite or that type of thing, and I need to justify that. Course objectives and goals are only required for graduate level classes, I believe. They are not student learning outcomes. Student learning outcomes are required, and they are down here in this box. Additional information goes here. You may or may not need to fill in anything here. If your course is cross-listed or if it might overlap somewhere else, you might need a college or program consult. This was typically needed for new classes or cross-listed classes. Student learning outcomes. Here is where our student learning outcomes are. The student learning outcomes, in my opinion, are the most important aspect of the whole CIM record. And this is what you want the students to know at the end of the semester. What are they going to learn in your class? Let's say someone new is coming to teach your class. They should be able to come here to the CIM record and get a decent idea of what you've done and what you've taught the students. And so these student learning outcomes, these are course level learning outcomes. They need to be measurable, and I am absolutely willing to help you write those or revise them if you already have them. The student evaluation methods, the UCCC is strongly encouraging you to list any student evaluation method you might use and put a range of percent weight. So let's say if I wanted to put participation in, okay, I'm going to go to attendance. Well, I'm going to say 0 to 5%. And then I need to add another, and I'm going to do quizzes. And I'm going to say 0 to 10%. The idea is that one semester I might give more quizzes or fewer quizzes, more exams, put in a project, that type of thing. And just because you're changing the student evaluation methods, you don't want to come and change your CIM record and go through the whole approval process. But if you have it listed here and you have a range where maybe you're going to do it, maybe you're not, you're theoretically covered. In practice, if you change your student evaluation methods, you don't typically go and change your CIM record. But if you make a major change, you should. The topic outline is a list of the topics you're going to cover. Sometimes these are very detailed, and sometimes these are more general. I would recommend making it a little more general, not with like specific number of lectures and that type of thing, because maybe one semester you teach more on topic A and less on topic B, but then the next semester that's flipped around because of current events, or students seem to really have a good grasp of A, so you can spend more time on B. So if you've got this more general, you don't need to worry about your CIM record going out of date as quickly as it might otherwise. You attach your syllabus here, any additional documentation. One really important additional documentation is if you have a cross-listed class, you're going to need to make sure that you are explaining how the graduate students are being treated differently than the undergraduate students. Like, are they doing different assignments or that kind of thing? So for cross-listed classes, you're definitely going to be using this additional documentation, and then any comments you might have. And then you hit save and submit, or just save if you're not done. When you hit save and submit, it starts the routing process. So until you're done editing, just hit save changes.